It isn't even your microscope. It was passed on to you from your ancestral scientists. And now, it's your turn to look at everyone through the antiquated lens. But you don't turn it on yourself because you didn't inherit inferior DNA.
I like the double helix. That was hot. Like putting science into like poetry and expressing your art through that way. I thought that was really nice. I like that a whole lot.
And then I was just curious, what was the plaque thing that you referred to earlier?
You know, college degree or like something that signifies of like, you know, status. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I was thinking like it was a doctor's office and his name was on the plaque, and like I'm walking through the door and I see him looking at me through like his big microscope. So I was sitting there like, oh snap. That's why I like that's why I like the double helix, because then you go inside of me trying to find out if my helix is wrong, but it wasn't mine that was incorrect. It was yours.
And that's good that you get that, even if it was not necessarily the specific thing that she intended. You know what I mean? Because it gives you a whole different way, to look at it.
Who's up?
Go Blue is like, it's something I mentioned here. It's like my school's slogan, like for sports. Like our color is blue, so they go blue. Go Blue roars the bumper sticker on the back of her SUV. A cell phone covered by blonde hair. She pulls out of her Starbucks parking space without looking in the rearview mirror. Horns retaliate. I sigh. This is my hometown. Go Blue, their SUVs roar as they drive past the ghetto part of town. Make believe they don't see the bullet holes in doors, the boarded up windows, the train tracks where houses should be. Drive by the houses with 7 bedrooms. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, you can see the indoor swimming pools, hear the swish of tennis rackets, and pretend that it all looks like this.
When I'm out on the street in South Orange, if I'm not on the other side of the town, I get different, vibes from people than I do if I'm on my side, Because I would say Scotland Road is like the race line, like where it separates,
And in the classroom, the imbalance is subtle, undercurrents in hallways, AP classes on the top floor, special ed in the basement. And although over half the faces in the yearbook are darker than mine, on the 3rd floor, everyone looks like me. Though dark faces paint 55% of the hallways, segregation still reigns in the cafeteria, in AP classes, in detention. Just don't let the state know. Let's say hush hush and ride this pseudo-underground railroad, this free ticket to funding from the Board of Ed. Flashback to 9/11 vigil. My friend wrote a poem about freedom. It rhymes and has flow. Principal won't let him near the podium because it's like a rap. And after all, white people hate anything with rhythm, and only white people attend 9/11 vigils. We will make our own history, write our own books. We will burn these halls until we get our answers, because we'll huff and we'll puff and we'll blow their shit down.
I like the wait. Sorry, I'm looking in the wrong direction. I like the reality that you put in there about like the 55%, dark faces and everything. But in the cafeteria, it's very well segregated. Like in my school, it's 51% black, 46% white, and like whatever in the middle. When you go into the cafeteria, it's like we have 2 cafeterias, and most of the white kids go out for lunch, and then the rest of them stay in the new cafeteria, and then the other ones stay in the black cafeteria. You know what I mean? In the old cafeteria, and it's like, it's mixed a little between the two, but not really. And that got to me really. I definitely felt like that. Yeah.
Once you get black students into a place, that's not the end of the game. So I'm saying this educational thing is important, but not necessarily just putting bodies next to each other, you know, in a very uneven fashion. But, you know, but when you put people bodies next to each other, then you got to have people who understand what that means. You know, what is the psychology of that?
Integration was not a moment. It was not an event in which closure has been achieved. It was not, it's not some sort of finite thing that can be held up and looked at and appraised as you would a jewel.
At some point in those classes, I was being, I was lessening. I was becoming smaller and smaller. I no longer could see myself at all. I mean, I didn't have a sense of me at all. I had a better sense of me in the Southern school, where it was all, in quotes, segregated, if you're ready for this, than I had in a place called New York City, where we could go on buses, ride in buses, go downtown to the village, you know, go all over the city, whatever. But there was never a sense of me.
It was really easy to picture, like, everything that you were saying. It was very powerful and, like, moving. The fact, and I went to a junior high school where it was just like that. There was the white kids and the black kids, and that was it. Like, there was no in between. We didn't have that little percent in there, so like it was very segregated. Like, we had the track system, and that's what it was like every single day. The white kids and the black kids had different buses. It was really, because they're the different neighborhoods. So
for everyone to have an understanding of each other, I think that's when you get the true integration, you know what I mean?
Integration is a process, and integration in some ways is an ongoing changing condition that people constantly have to think about what their relationship is to.
I mean, you can understand someone, but unless you're actually, you know where they're coming from, you can never get as close, you know?
You have to figure out ways, again, to get people to actually see one another for who they are. So the black students all aren't one monolith. There are lots of different people coming from different areas. They got lots of different things that they want to try to do.
Since 6th grade, people had all been saying I was a white girl, and I never understood it. I was like, I didn't understand it because I figured that being white or black was just the color of your skin, and then I find out that it has to do with the way you talk and the way you dress and stuff.
The kind of integration that people believed in when they were struggling to achieve integration has not yet been achieved.
They saw me as an Oreo or a white girl. It was really weird to me. It actually broke my heart too, because I figured, well, that's kind of sad. And they didn't say it like, oh, you're white, that's cool. They said, like, you're white, ew, that's bad. So I was like, well, first of all, I don't understand how you could be white or black unless you have the skin color. I guess that was naive of me, I don't know. And first of all, I was like, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, we're all equal, right? I guess not.
And so I just stopped going to classes, period. And I went in, and there was this nice little woman sitting there, counselor. She looks like somebody's grandmother. And she said, well, what do you want? I mean, Sonia, what can we do? And I got ready to open up to tell her what was going on. I don't see me here. There's nothing that's, you know, involved. I mean, where am I? You know, who am I in this place called Hunter College? And before I could get it out, she said, we brought you people here because. And I looked at her, and I shut down.
I think that's one of the problems with, you know, some of the problems with the kids that's coming up. You know, there's not too many black teachers in high school. I think we actually need more of them, especially if the school is 51% black now. There has to be that connection, you know? There definitely has to be that connection. The only places that there are is like ISS, in-school suspension, the dean's office. Those are people that are going to be connecting with, I mean.
I finally said, I can tell, I want to be a writer. I wanted to be a writer. I said, well, I'm studying this political science because I want to be a lawyer, right? I said, but I really, deep down in my heart, she said, there are no Negro writers, Sonia. Now, I knew from the South that there were Negro writers. I mean, I hadn't encountered any at Hunter, but I knew there were Negro writers. She said, oh, and she laughed, a laugh that pierced my soul.
It's not so much about whether or not integration is a good or bad idea, but it's more, at what point do we believe in integration as something that has to do with being seen for who we are and who we can be, as opposed to being seen for what someone else believes that we ought to be.
Get some space. You want to be with Natasha. Because what I want you to do now is just move.
We don't say them out loud.
Do you think? Don't say it. Just use movement. Okay? 5, 6, 7, 8.